So I did a reaction video recently where this chick and another woman said that they still craves male attention or they still desire male attention while they are married because this is a married woman. And somebody in the comments said, "Yo, Q, that woman is a witch." I was like, "Whoa." So anyway, I saw this video popped up on my feed where she is explaining the benefits of her open relationship. So apparently she's in an open relationship. So let's get into it.
Exclusivity or sexual exclusivity wasn't necessarily the part around commitment and intimacy that excited me the most. The part that excited me the most was getting to know someone else, someone getting to deeply know me, us getting to build a rapport, build a life, share a life together. And so I remember in multiple relationships before.
Let me tell you about an app called Free Cash. Free Cash is the #1 app worldwide, allowing users like yourself to make money off their phone for free. If you want to make $200 plus a week for free, download using my link in the description or the QR code on the screen. If you download now for free using my link or QR code, you will get a free $5 into your account for free. That's $5 for free, no requirements. So download Free Cash today to make easy, quick, and free money.
Or meeting Jared, not having the language to say, hey, I want this to be open, but just being like, I love getting to know you. I feel very passionate and excited about getting to know you. I just want you to know a prerequisite for us getting closer isn't romantic exclusivity. Like, you're welcome to see other people. I also wouldn't mind seeing other people.
We were at a party and there was a guy who was, maybe, I didn't notice it, but giving a little bit of attention to the person that I was with. And I remember we got in the car and we were riding home and she said, "Do you not want to be with me?" And I was like, "Huh?" And she was like, "You never display jealousy." It got to the point that my lack of jealousy in all of my relationships was a focal point of an argument. And a lot of the reasons why it probably ended, because they didn't feel that I actually wanted to be there. But that wasn't the case at all. I just not threatened.
I really didn't know about open relationships until I was in one, but I do think that I was naturally predispositioned to be in one before I entered into one. So,
What? See, here's the thing, right? A woman like this is very masculine. You will only find women like this with men who are somewhat feminine, men that they can control, men that they can walk all over, right? But the reality is this: she's just a freak. Women like this don't know how to love a man. That's why being committed in a relationship with a man is not something that she's able to do. She give her life to the streets. She just want to run through different dudes and explore. See, these type of women right here, these types of women right here, they will come off as, "Ooh, I'm a free spirit." But I'm telling you all, bro, these women be the biggest sluts on the market. Fellas, be careful out here, bro. I'm telling y'all. And understand something, bro. When a woman is into you, when she still got a heart and she's into you, it's going to be extremely hard for her to be interested in another guy. It's impossible, matter of fact, if she's truly into you. But when she's not into you and she's into the streets, it's going to be hard for her to be exclusive to just you. And the reality is, the only type of men who will go for that is pretty much a man with no backbone, pretty much a simp, a sucker. And I believe that's exactly who she found.
When Jared and I met, we were buddies. And I always make that delineation because we weren't even friends with benefits. I was coming out of a long distance relationship. I had a lot of emotional work to do, a lot of work around my self confidence to do. And also, I wasn't legally allowed to work in the country at the time because of my immigration status. So I was not in the space where I felt like I would be a good romantic partner to someone else. But sexual partner, I was in school for sexology. I was learning all these new cool things. And as many of you guys know, and as I've talked about many times before, when you're in a relationship that doesn't feel safe to your nervous system, your libido shuts down. So myself and my ex had a really ineffective sex life. And I was like, I deserve to have great sex. And I think I'll be great at it with somebody who I have great chemistry with.
Okay, given my past, there was a lot of times where, especially in this phase of my life, where I wasn't really looking for anything serious, but I enjoyed people's company. And what ended up happening,
You see what I'm saying, bro? When a woman is extremely masculine, right? If she finds a man who is also masculine, what she's going to try to do is emasculate him. If she's unsuccessful in trying to emasculate him, she will walk away. But it's impossible for a masculine ass woman to be with a masculine man. Hence, her husband.
was when the relationship wouldn't progress to something more serious, it caused problems. So there was a lot of talk about us being like what we're not. But other than that, like we were just kind of going with the flow. And a lot of times I look back, I look back.
And I always say this about sex is that sex will never be boring as long as it's authentic. And authentic sex is actually extremely difficult to achieve because there are so many things that tell us based on who we are or how old we are, how we look, what kind of relationship we're in. This is the kind of sex you should be having. Even if you have never thought about it before, if you start to really analyze the sounds that you make, the positions that you favor, the type of energy that you bring to sex, the roles that you
Yo,
play, even if I'm not talking about pizza man and door lady.
first of all, any woman that talks like that, fellas, I'm telling y'all, bro, this is a woman who feeds off the flesh. She's weak to the flesh. And that's never a good thing, okay? She got a very dark soul. See, a virtuous woman doesn't feed off the flesh because she's rich in spirit. But a freak, she only knows how to feed off the flesh, buddy. She refers to her husband as buddy. This shit is crazy, bro. This shit is
I
wild.
mean, like the roles that you take on when you enter into that space, a lot of it is extremely scripted and is baked into these social scripts. So I remember with Jared looking at him and thinking, oh, this guy doesn't watch a lot of porn. Like that was my thought the first time that we were sexual, even though it didn't lead to penetration or any type of oral sex. I remember even just in the way that we were being sexually active, the way that he was touching my body, the kinds of sounds he made, the facial expressions he made, I thought, oh, this guy doesn't watch a lot of porn. And I like that because I was accustomed to guys kind of behaving, again, when you start to pay attention to these things in a very systemic way. And if sex is supposed to be a place of freedom, when somebody else is adhering to the rules, then you also feel like you're supposed to adhere to the rules. But with Jared, I was like, oh, all bets are off. I can just try things and do things. And we did. One of our earlier sexual experiences, I almost broke Jared's arm. Yeah, it got a little wild.
And a lot of times I look back at our relationship and I realize that there was so many small moments that elevated our relationship and heightened it, that never felt like high stakes. You know, it was like we saw each other only at the night in the beginning. And then we both were like, hey, do you want to like do something in the day and go on hikes and do things like that? And we started doing those things. And then it got to a point where it was like, hey, do you want to sleep over? And then we started sleeping over.
Mind you, this entire time we're seeing other people. It wasn't uncommon for me to call Jared and for him to be like, I'm on my way to a date with somebody else. And the first time he said that, he was like, is that weird? I'm like, no, it's not actually weird at all. And then I would check in with myself and it wasn't actually weird. So I was like, oh, I really appreciate this. And also in my past relationship, based on what I do for a living, just my desire to connect with people in person. Like if I'm around you in person, I will likely flirt with you. I may not want anything to happen afterwards, but I think that interactions are a little bit more fun when they got a little sauce in them.
We would check in with each other like, do you feel good? Does this feel nice? All right, let's just continue to elevate it.
Intimacy is best built, in my opinion, when it's not goal directed, but instead direction directed, which essentially means that we're not trying to move anywhere, but we're just kind of noticing how we feel in the moment and deciding on a direction from there. So we get together, we're doing something, and then we start talking to each other. Hey, do you want to go back? Do you want to chill here for a while? Do you want to take a step forward? Jared called me because, again, by this time, we're friends, we have sex, and we also have something a bit more where we share parts of our lives and we ask for help for each other. So he called me just to vent.
This shit is disgusting, bro. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about her pH balance. That shit is probably super off. That shit is probably funky, bruh. This is a woman who is casually talking about having multiple sex partners on a podcast. When she's married. What's the point of the marriage? Because you got a simp that you could control? It's like, okay, y'all can't say too much about me because I found a simp that's willing to marry me and give me the title of a wife while I stay in the streets and smash mad different dudes. And I'm going to call it an open relationship. And I'm going to act like it's okay, even though I'm doing some straight hoe shit. This shit is crazy, bro. This chick right here is nothing but a freak, a straight slut, a thought who found a simp who is willing to wife her up while she thrive in her bird energy, while she do a bunch of hoe shit. But she found a simp that, who's okay with that. And look, fellas, let's be real, bro. Let's be real. If you're a masculine straight man, there's no way you're comfortable with your woman smashing other dudes. The guy that she with is a very weak man. Do you understand how weak you gotta be to allow a woman to manipulate you to thinking that an open relationship is okay? Bro, this is wild.
He was like, oh man, I'm so mad. I'm so bummed out. I got to find somewhere. Like the place I'm staying right now is really close to my job. And, what are the odds of being able to find something else with somebody cool enough? And he was just kind of venting and spinning. And I was waiting for him to say, can I live with you? Because Jared and I lived walking distance from each other. And that's actually pretty important because the number one determinant of relational success is proximity. Like proximity over chemistry, over similar interests or similar values or similar long-term goals. Proximity is a massive one. Proximity, similarity, and familiarity. Familiarity meaning that they remind you of someone that you know, and similarity meaning that you have, a lot of your value systems line up. So Jared and I had proximity down pat. So when he was venting to me, I'm kind of low-key waiting for him to be like, can I come stay with you? But he never did. So I was like, I let him finish. And I said, okay, well, sorry for the interruption. Thank you so much for staying with us. And we would love for you to come back for this episode of Lovers next week.
You know, I got a lot of blowback the last time I did this podcast. People,
It was so freeing for women.
It was freeing. You're with someone for a long time. You're married for a certain amount of years, faithful to this person, is the only person who had seen my body, and then all of a sudden it's gone. Am I gonna be able to let myself go and feel comfortable?
By the notion, just kind of run out of ideas for spices and you wish that there was some. Enter AyeQ, a platform that makes breaking the routine the new routine in your relationships and helps you make things new. On the experience, I mean, anytime. A really cool offer happening for the holidays right now, so listen up. New members who purchase an AyeQ gift, AyeQ Intimacy, and lie about, all right, waiting for him to be like, can I come stay with you? But he never did. So I was like, I let him finish and I said, okay, well, it sounds like you need somewhere to stay while you look for somewhere else. Why don't you just come stay with me? And he immediately shuts it down.
And I think the reason why I was terrified of doing that is because, one, I'd never lived with an intimate partner before. And two, I didn't want me moving in to explode the relationship. I grew up in the church. And so a lot of times people who just started dating and moved in, their relationship exploded. And so that's what.
Bruh, you grew up in the church and you're in an open relationship because you're with a woman who is probably a witch. You see how these women be having these dudes under their spells? Just think about what he just said. Wow.
I was so deathly afraid of when saying yes to moving in with Shan.
And sometimes the more that you deepen a relationship, the more complicated it gets and the more negativity that comes into it, which means, of course, more expectations get added on. And then all of a sudden, two people who used to vibe and enjoy each other have all these other additional expectations that make it hard for that to be possible anymore. Jared actually has a song that's called Magic. And the concept of that song really is like, what happened?
Back when the things were just natural. Used to laugh, used to dance. What happened?
Man, what is she a sex worker or something, bro? What is going on, bro? This shit is crazy.
I wanna change you believe it's what happened?
For you to be exclusive to me. I'm not going to all of a sudden expect for you to behave a certain way or stop any activities that you're doing. I'm not looking to change or edit you. And instead, I'm just offering you a place to sleep. I'm not going to lie to you.
Damn, bro. So she had this man move in? Fellas, never move in with a woman. See, I understand why somebody suggested that she's a witch. Because witches love power over men. That's the whole thing about a witch. What she's going to do is use trickery, but her main intention is to be some type of powerful woman over a man, where a man have to bow to her. So the fact that she's like, yo, move in with me. Why? Because she knows once he move in with her, he's going to be her little bitch. She knows that. A woman can't fully respect a man if he moves in with her. She could never look up to that man because it's her spot. She's the head of the house. So he got to walk around and tuck his tail. And he better not leave the toilet seat up. It's crazy.
You and say sleep on the couch because we know how we are when we're in the same space. We'll be sleeping in the same bed, but nonetheless, it's like a short-term opportunity, something I'm really happy to offer my friend. I love having you around. Cool.
And so we started doing that, and we realized in that 3-week time that we kind of are the same person. Like, living with each other was not shocking. We kind of enjoyed being around each other that much.
So Jared moves in, which is what's supposed to be for 3 weeks. Now, here's what's kind of happening in the background. Like I said, I was dating a lot of people, and interesting, the way that Jared even told me that he loved me is that one of the guys in New York that I was dating, I was hanging out with him. And then I, posted pictures because he and I were both doing social media and we just kind of like, we got along in that way. We made content together. So I posted pictures with this guy,
This shit
and
is
then I tweeted
crazy.
something like, "Man, I'm having such a great time learning about love while not being in eros love," which eros means romantic. And then Jared texted me shortly after and was like, "Hey, I just saw your tweet. Is our love not romantic?" And I was like, "You love me?" He was like, "Yeah, I do love you." I was like, "Wow, I love you too." So and that didn't change. I still saw that guy in New York. And then there was also somebody else out of state whom I had had a long history with. And
Yo,
it was like
duh.
the perfect story. Like that could have been romance that had all of the ingredients to it, but it just wasn't meant to be at the time. And then I met someone else and they met somebody else. And when I finally broke up with my partner, serendipitously, that person reached back out and they had broken up with their partner. So we had been communicating all while I was dating Jared and several other people. And this person had made a very specific plan that I knew about from prior to come and visit me in Los Angeles. Now, they weren't going to come and stay with me, but they were just going to come be in the city to give ourselves a chance that we didn't get to have years and years prior. So when Jared first moved in with me for the short term, I was like, that's fine. By the time Jared leaves, this guy will come and there'll be nothing kind of weird that happens with that. But Jared and I went on a trip to New York together for the VMAs. And I brought Jared really, again, kind of on the same time. I love having sex with you. We have great chemistry. I like having you around. You've never been to New York before. I had a +1 that I could bring, a free flight. They could stay with me, come to the VMAs. So I was like, why don't I bring Jared? Like, he's never been to New York before. So we went together and we had such a lovely time. Like, just a really, really lovely time. Can I say this actually? Interestingly, kind of in the whole open vein, is my co-host on that project, I had such a huge crush on. So it was like, I don't know, that whole experience was just like a lot of fun. Like having them both in the same room and just that energy, I just super, super enjoyed it. And we went to an after party. We were having such a great time together. Vashti was DJing. And at some point in the night, Jared and I kind of moved to the side and we were just chilling. And then I remember looking at him and being like, damn, it's just so easy to be with you. And he, in his super drunk self, let it slip out. He was like, yeah, of course it is. That's because I'm made for you. And I was like, that's a really weird thing for my fuck buddy to say. And also that actually makes sense. Like I do feel like that. So we had a few conversations, and when we got back to LA, he had found another apartment and he was like kind of set to move in. He was going to bring his ID. He actually left to go and secure this spot. His best friend was going to go move in with him. It was like all working out. So he leaves. And then he comes back pissed. He was like, I can't believe it. Like so-and-so left their ID. We couldn't sign the lease. And now we have to go back to
Look, this shit right here is sad, bro, because the thing about women like this, they ain't got no shame. The fact that she's that comfortable to sit down and tell us about how many different men that she was running through while she was with, I guess, her friend, her buddy, her fuck buddy, who's now her husband, is very telling, bro. And see, the thing about women who ain't got no shame, fellas, they don't fear God. I'm pretty sure this chick don't be going to church on Sundays. I'm pretty sure this chick probably don't pray to God. These women are who they are. And see, y'all gotta learn how to look into a woman's eyes and see who she is. See, the thing about like women who are like who are witches, like I always tell you guys, look at their eyes. around their eyes will always be dark. They will always have a dark energy about them. And if you take a good look at this woman, I'm telling you, bro, she's who she is. And it's sad. I mean, all the signs are there, like I always like tell you guys, like when it comes to a masculine woman, she will always find like a feminine dude. You can't save a woman who give her soul to the streets. That's why she's in so many open relationships. She found a sucker who is willing to save her so she could walk around and be a slut while being a wife, while having the title of wife. See, after like a bird reach a certain age, and they understand that if they are wives, it may increase their value to society. So most of these types of women, they strive to find a sucker to marry them. And that's exactly what she did. But fellas, man, be wise out here, bro, for real. This is what imagine him being in a hospital dealing with and the baby's coming out. Fellas, again, focus on yourself. That's what it is.